In this video, I'm going to explain how to complete assignment 1.5. So the scenario is n students take k apples and distribute those among each other evenly. The remaining, or the indivisible part, remains in the basket. How many apples will each single student get, and how many apples will remain in the basket? So the program reads in two numbers, or we get the user to enter two numbers. One, the number of students, and two, the number of apples. It should output or print the two answers for the questions above. So the first question is how many apples will each single student get? And the second question is how many apples will remain in the basket? So the example below says the example input is 6 and 50. So that means we've got 6 students take 50 apples. How many apples is that for each student? So 6 8s are 48, and then there's 2 remaining. So our input would be 6 and 50, and our output would be 8 and 2. Now, the question is, how do we get to that output? So I'm going to start by removing everything we have, forget what you know, and we've got 2 variables. So let's set a variable for the number of students, and just n will do. Let's convert that to an integer in case they don't. And let's set a variable k for the number of apples we have to distribute. We could simply print 50 apples. Let's say apples divided by number of students. Try running this. So it's asking us now how many students, so 6, and 50 apples. 50 divided by 6 is 8 and a third. So we don't want each student to get 8 and a third apples. We want them to get an even 8 apples and then leave the remainder in the basket. So we're not quite there yet, but I'm about to show you how we can get what we need. So what we're going to need to use to get the remaining apples in the basket as part of our output is what's called the modulus operator. You may have used it in mathematics. It's a way to calculate the remainder of a division. So in Python we use the % sign. So I'm just going to add another line here for our second output, and I'll do k%n. Now what that's going to do is divide the left number by the right and then return the remainder. So if we were to use our 6 students and 50 apples, again, we'd be dividing 50 by 6, which is 8, and there's a remainder of 2. And as you can see in our example output, that's one of our requirements. So if we run this and put in 6 students and 50 apples, we'll get 8 and 2, which is correct. However, we've still got that decimal point, which is not as part of our required output. Now the way to fix that and turn our division into whole number division is to simply add a second /, which is going to remove the decimal point, or it's going to round our numbers out. So let's try that again, 6 and 50, and it should print 8 and 2, and it does. And let's see what the computer says. In our 5 tests, it says passed all tests. Woohoo!